There are 4 houseplants where, on the day they bloom, the old folks usually see it as blessings and good fortune pouring into the home. Because these 4 plants do not flower every year. They only flower when the prosperous energy in the home has reached its peak. So some people grow them their whole life and never once get to see them bloom. Among the 5 elements, plants belong to the wood element, and wood governs growth and multiplying. But that growth is not always the same. The plant puts out leaves every year, but flowers are different. The plant has to gather living energy over many years in a row, and only when it has enough does it pour everything into a single flower stalk and bloom. So, in the whole life cycle of the plant, its growth is never as strong as when it flowers. So which 4 plants are these, and what does each one foretell when it blooms? Today I will share each one with you. Watch to the end of the video to learn what you should and should not do when the plant blooms, so you do not accidentally lose that rare good omen. Alright, now let us begin. Number 1. Fragrant Dracaena. The Fragrant Dracaena has a round, woody trunk, and out of the top of the trunk sprout clusters of long, dark green leaves with a yellow streak running down the middle. This plant only ever shows good leaves all year round, but whenever it flowers, folk tradition sees it as a good omen and a sign of luck. That lucky meaning comes from the very shape of the plant. The leaves reach straight up from a cut-off length of trunk, meaning it still sprouts from a spot that seemed like the end, so people see it as a plant of revival. The day the plant flowers is also the day that vitality rises most strongly, so it is seen as a sign that the money in your home is about to become plentiful, and that the work you have left unfinished will start to bring better results. That said, the Fragrant Dracaena rarely agrees to bloom indoors, because the plant has to be old, with a trunk big enough, and it has to have enough sun and enough nutrients for many years in a row before it will push up a flower stalk. The plant usually flowers around late fall into early winter, when the weather turns cool. If you see a strange stalk rising up from the middle of the leaves, do not rush to cut it. Just leave it alone for about 2 or 3 weeks and the flowers will open. And to give the plant a chance to flower, first pay attention to where you put it. You should set the pot near a window that catches the morning sun, rather than leaving it forever in a dark corner. Because sunlight belongs to yang, while an enclosed corner with no sun or air for a long time is the yin side, where the energy pools in one place. And since the plant is a living thing, it needs yang energy to have the strength to feed a flower. For water, you should water it only about once a week. Watering too much leaves water pooling in the pot with nowhere to drain, and feng shui usually calls this stagnant water, meaning dead water that breeds damp energy, which keeps the plant from bringing more wealth to your family. Once or twice a year, feed the plant some fertilizer, and the best time is early spring. Because spring is when wood energy is most abundant in the year, when all plants sprout and bud, so feeding it at just that moment helps the plant grow better and give off a good stream of energy flowing throughout the home. Then, now and then, take a damp cloth and wipe the leaves clean of dust. Leaves coated thick in dust are usually seen as stalled energy, meaning the energy in that spot pools up rather than circulating, just like a corner of the house that has gone unswept for a long time. Once you wipe them and the leaves shine and catch the light, that whole corner of the home brightens up along with them. If you care for it all the way to the day it blooms, keep one more thing in mind. The Fragrant Dracaena's flowers have a very strong fragrance, and it spreads most powerfully at night, so avoid placing the plant in the bedroom. The bedroom needs to be a peaceful place, and when too strong a scent wafts up all night, that peace slowly fades, which can leave you and your loved ones unable to sleep, wearing down your health, so your mind is not clear enough to make big decisions about money. Then, when the flowers have all withered, cut off the flower cluster. A withered thing left in the home for a long time has lost all its living energy, and the plant also has to spend its strength feeding that spent stalk, so it recovers slowly. Once you cut off the withered flower clusters, the leaves can turn glossy green again like before, and the prosperous energy in that corner gathers as well, so the money in your home builds up for longer. Number 2. Snake plant. If the Fragrant Dracaena is a plant of revival, then the snake plant is placed by feng shui among the guardian plants. Its leaves stand straight up, sharp as a sword blade, so it is seen as able to screen out some of the harmful energy rushing straight into the home. Harmful energy here means the bad streams of energy, for instance from a road pointing straight at the door, or from a sharp corner of the house across the way aiming over. and a plant that constantly stands where it catches sun, wind, and the streams of energy from outside, yet still keeps its leaves green and healthy, is already something to value. So when the plant still has enough life to feed a flower stalk, the old folks usually see it as the moment the plant is at its most prosperous. That means the plant both keeps its guarding power at the door and has gathered enough living energy to keep feeding a flower. On top of that, when the plant blooms, your family can also receive good signs. First is peace, a calm and settled home, where the older folks rarely come down with little illnesses, and troubles from outside have a hard time affecting your family's life. If someone in your home works far away, or you are awaiting a new opportunity in your work, then the time the plant blooms is all the more seen as a good omen, opening the way for your career, foretelling that your work is about to gain someone's support, that a favorable opportunity is about to appear, or that matters that had been stuck will gradually find a way to be resolved. In particular, if the plant in your home blooms right around the start of the year, the old folks usually see it as a good beginning, a family gathered together, work going smoothly, money flowing easily, and everything in the new year having more chances to grow. To keep the plant in its guarding stance and to keep it from blocking the flow of energy into the home, you should place it out on the balcony or set it evenly on both sides of the entrance. Keep in mind to set the plant off to the sides only, and do not let the pot block the middle of the walkway, because feng shui sees the front door as where energy comes into the home. If you place a large object blocking right in the middle, then good living energy has a hard time flowing, and the plant, which was meant to protect, unintentionally becomes an obstacle to your wealth. If your home has a window facing east, this is also a suitable spot for the plant, because the east belongs to the wood element, and plants also carry the energy of the wood element. When you place the plant in this direction, the two same element factors are seen as shared energy, helping the space around the plant become more harmonious. With enough light and airflow, the plant is also fresher and healthier. There is one thing you should also keep in mind, which is that seeing a plant grow well does not mean you should immediately switch it to a really large pot. With the snake plant in particular, too wide a pot does not necessarily help the plant flower more easily. You should only choose a pot that fits the roots snugly, which helps the energy around the base gather more easily, so the plant can focus its living energy on feeding its body, leaves, and flower stalk. That is why you should only repot when the roots have grown to fill the whole pot. And if the plant is still green and growing steadily, keep the old pot so the energy around the base does not scatter, helping the plant more easily gather prosperous energy and bloom, a sign that the wealth in your home is gradually multiplying. Number 3. Money tree. Take notice, and at many shops, checkout counters, or places of business, people usually place a money tree in an easy-to-see spot. That arrangement is no accident, because the money tree has long been seen as a symbol of wealth, abundance, and the ability to hold on to good fortune for the family. The trunk of the plant is usually braided together, symbolizing wealth energy being gathered, so the money you earn can be held on to longer. On each branch, the 5 leaves spreading evenly remind many people of the 5 elements: metal, wood, water, fire, and earth. When the 5 elements are balanced, the energy in your home is also seen as flowing more harmoniously, which is why the money tree usually suits many families today. That is why, when a long-time money tree suddenly blooms, it is usually seen as a sign that the living energy around the plant is very prosperous, bringing the signal that the wealth in the home has a chance to multiply, and that the good things that had been quietly gathering are now finding the moment to blossom. First is money. The money tree carries the meaning of attracting wealth and holding fortune, so when it blooms, many people usually believe the wealth energy in the home is entering a stage of growth. For those of you in trade, you may find a new partnership, or work that had been stuck may become smoother. Unnecessary losses are limited, and money starts to build up more easily than before. Moreover, the plant blooming also carries a good meaning for the atmosphere in the family. When the living energy in the home is harmonious, small quarrels gradually settle down, the people in the home learn to give and take and care for one another more, so your family keeps its peace, and wealth stays for the long run. The money tree is a wealth-attracting plant, so it suits best the places where money comes and goes each day, and the checkout counter I just mentioned is where money moves the most in a shop. For those in business, set the plant beside the counter, or beside where the cash box is kept, but remember to set it to the side rather than blocking the customer's view. And for a home, place the plant in the southeast corner of the living room, because among a home's 8 directions, the southeast is seen as the wealth sector, meaning the sector that governs money. When you place a money tree here, the plant and the sector both carry the meaning of attracting wealth, so the plant's fortune-holding power grows all the stronger, and the money in your home gathers more easily. On the other hand, you should avoid placing the money tree in the kitchen, because the kitchen belongs to fire, and wood feeds fire. So a plant standing there has to spend its strength feeding the flames, wearing itself down rather than holding fortune for your family. At the same time, do not keep the plant in the bathroom or a damp, dark spot, because that is where foul energy pools, meaning a polluted stream of energy. And a wealth plant placed in a polluted spot both fails to gather wealth and has its leaves gradually yellow and drop. There is one more thing I want to share with you, which is that you should not undo the braided trunk of the money tree to straighten it out. Because the trunk wound tightly together symbolizes wealth being gathered and the people in the home supporting one another. So keep the plant's original shape as it was, so the plant's wealth-gathering stance is not disturbed, while also keeping the connection, harmony, and lasting stability in the family. Number 4. Clivia. The Clivia has thick, broad, glossy green leaves that spread evenly to both sides like an open fan, none crowding another. That balanced shape makes people think of a noble person, someone who lives upright and true. All year round, that is all you see, but whenever it flowers, folk tradition calls it the flower that announces a happy event. Announcing a happy event means foretelling that a joyful occasion is coming to the home. It might be a child getting married, it might be good news on the way for children, or it might be someone who has been away a long time about to return for a reunion. Unlike the 3 plants before, which speak a lot about money, the omen of this plant lies in matters of people and the home. Beyond that, the old folks also see the Clivia flower as a sign that your household is peaceful and warm. Because this plant only blooms when you tend to it year after year, and only in a warm home would you have the heart to care so lovingly for each potted plant. So a Clivia in bloom is also a time when everyone in your home is in harmony and closely bonded. And you may notice as well that the Clivia flower lasts a very long time. A cluster of a dozen or so orange-yellow blooms stays fresh for a whole month. That very endurance is why the old folks see it as an omen of lasting fortune, rather than luck that comes and then goes. For any home that gets to see a Clivia bloom, luck will follow into your home over time. As for placement, you should set the Clivia pot to the left of where you sit and work, meaning when you sit in the chair and look straight ahead, the plant is on your left-hand side. Placing it that way is seen as having a benefactor's support, meaning that in hard times, someone will step forward to help you and show you the way. And if you place the plant at the entrance or out on the porch, it carries a different meaning. The plant's upright shape, with flowers blooming brilliantly right where guests step in, is seen as showing the warmth and hospitality of the homeowner. Because of that, the home is lively, with guests coming and going often, and that liveliness is itself a kind of living energy for the home. So I have just shared with you 4 houseplants that, when they bloom, bring luck and great fortune to the whole family. And as you can see, a houseplant blooming has never been a matter of chance. It only comes to homes with enough sun, enough air, and people willing to put in the effort to tend and care for it. So keep caring for your plant so it stays green and healthy. Because only a healthy plant has the strength to bloom. And that blessing, in the end, is made by your own hands. Have you ever had a potted plant in your home suddenly bloom? Leave a line down in the comments to let everyone know. Thank you for watching to the end of the video. And in future videos, if there is a feng shui topic you would like me to share, just leave your thoughts, and I will read them all and pick out the topics you care about most so we can share them together. I wish you and your whole family lasting health, a home always full of living energy and smooth sailing in everything this year. See you again in future videos.